Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige in Print, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. Y'all, how is it April? Be so for real right now. How is it April? And whatever happened to February and March? Because January was the longest month of all time, and I'm not kidding when I say that. But whatever happened to February and March? It's crazy. I cannot believe I'm doing my second ever monthly wrap-up and release radar video. That means we've been here for a month, guys. Happy 1 month of book club. Hey. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the most fun month truly ever. I have had such a blast getting to do this book club with you all. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for listening. I truly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's chat. This week, I'm going to be breaking down everything I read in March up until the time of recording, and I'll also give you a little insight into what I'm planning on reading through the end of the month. This month kind of falls at a weird time. I always record my recap release radar episodes a week before release. Usually I'm filmed further out than that, but I try to do this one as close to release as possible just so that I can be like as accurate with information as possible. However, y'all don't care about the logistics, you just care about the episode. Sorry. I'll be giving you a little TBR for the rest of the month, if you will. And then we'll be talking about some anticipated April releases. Books to keep your eyes out for, books I've already read, books I'm planning on reading, all of that beautiful, incredible stuff. What are you reading? What are you most excited about in April? What was your favorite book in March? Holler. I'm not kidding. Please slide into my DMs. I'm being so serious. Tell me that I sent you. Please. Give me a reading update. I'm begging. Every episode at one point I'm like, message me. Not a single person has messaged me. You're making me sad. Message me, please. Okay. Let's talk about some March reads. Oh my gosh. March had my jaw on the floor. March was that girl. March was such a good reading month. And I don't want to say I've been in a reading slump because I don't feel that that's necessarily true, but I have been, dare I say, burnt out from reading, coming off of a 205 book year in 2024. Your girl was tired. Okay, I was tired. And so I think January and February were just a little bit harder on me, trying to get back into the swing of things after doing the Page and Print Awards, which was like a big award show through the end of the year that I did. It was a fun little bit, if you will. So I kind of lost my sparkle, if you will. But I'm going to say it. We're so back. We're so back. So I want to do a little flashback to my February recap March release radar episode because at the time I was currently reading a book called 7 of Hearts by Maggie Gates, and I told you I would loop back, do a little wraparound, and talk about it in this episode, and boy, are we gonna talk about it. Oh my gosh. I thought that I was gonna be reading a fun, light, accidental pregnancy best friend's brother romance. Oh, hey, wrong. 7 of Hearts had me feeling things. I'm going to say it. I say it every episode. I need to unpack with a professional. I feel like I usually relate to an FMC. I'm a girl's girl. I love being a girl. And I love the girls I read. So I feel like a lot of the books I read, I end up really relating to the FMC. The MMC in this book, I fear, might be my twin. At risk of being vulnerable within the first 5 minutes of this episode, was one of the most relatable characters to me that I have ever read. And what it came down to is this. Please know that this is very vulnerable. I don't know. I feel the need to preface that. His character kind of embodied what it means and what it looks like to feel as though you have to earn the goodness in your life that you have been given by being as perfect as possible. Uh-oh. Somebody check on her. His character explored the concept of a parental figure going out of their way to make life as good for you as possible, good for him as possible, and him feeling the need to hold himself to an unrealistic standard of perfection in an effort to atone for and earn the things he's been given. No, I was not okay. No, I am still not okay. No, this was not a light, fluffy best friend's brother romance. It was so well done. And then on the flip side of him, to foil him, our FMC came from, on the outside, what seemed to be an incredible perfect family, which he did not come from. He had people step up for him later on in his life, but she came from what looked to be, from the outside, the perfect family, and they did not show up for her. Despite appearing to be perfect, were so far from that and held her to an unrealistic standard of perfection. An unrealistic standard, not even of perfection, of just the person that they wanted her to be. Uh-oh. That's not good. Not only did this book cover these topics, this book also covered a topic I have not lived myself, but I can truly only imagine, and it gave me such a perspective on, and that is the varying reactions that people have when someone shares a pregnancy announcement. And I know that that sounds very, like, I don't know, kind of out of left field, but I feel this book provided every reaction under the sun. Excitement, anger, disappointment, indifference. Like, the FMC in this book experienced every single reaction possible to her pregnancy announcement, and she had to move through each of those. And it's like, oh, wow. The way you react to someone's life news matters and impacts them. And that's like such a duh moment, but also be mindful. It was such a good reminder to me. I learned so much from the books I read that it's like, this is a huge life adjustment and life change. They didn't even know how she was feeling about it, because at some of the times they didn't even know who the father was, or she wasn't sharing that. She was all on her own. And just the way people show up when you have a pregnancy announcement. So yes, this is an accidental pregnancy, best friend's brother romance, but it is also so much more. Also, if you have read Poker Club by Maggie Gates, this takes place in that same world. I actually have not read that series yet. That's actually on my April Hopefuls, is that series. This is a standalone. She markets it as a standalone. It's intended to be a standalone, but if you loved those characters, if you missed that world, this would be a good place to return to. So that was a read that I wrapped up the end of February with, and I didn't get to talk to you all about last time. So glad that I did. So talk about back-to-back bangers, because I went straight from Seven of Hearts to Merit by Devney Perry. Book club patrons, I am pleased to announce that we have a brand new Roman Empire book, a brand new Hall of Fame book, Merit by Devney Perry. When I tell you this book changed me, oh dear reader, did it change me. Yet again, a book that I thought was going to be a football, fake dating, enemies to lovers romance. Sweet little Paige picks up a book and says, oh, it's just going to be a college sports romance. Nay, 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 nay. Wrong, wrong. Alarm bells going off. The room grows eerily silent. Everyone's staring at her, waiting for her to realize, yeah. If you want to feel something, read Merit. Okay, now I'll talk about it now that I've made such a fuss. Yes, it is a college football romance. Yes, it is a childhood friends to enemies to lovers romance. Sure, it's a fake dating romance. But let me walk you through this story so you can see kind of where I'm heading. And then we'll talk about how it impacted me. At the beginning of the book, we realize that our MMC and FMC's family are absolute best friends. They do everything together. They grew up together. They are best friends. So they've grown up together. They were childhood best friends, inseparable, two peas in a pod, until one day at 10 or 11 years old, they started kind of making fun of each other. They each took it too far. And from then on, it has been an absolute nemesis enemies situation. They could not stand each other. And neither would apologize to the other. Henceforth, therefore, neither of them would forgive each other. And it wasn't super, super serious. I'm talking enemies to lovers, I just don't like you. I'm not talking about I hate you, I'm gonna punch you in the face type thing. So anyway, they don't love being around each other. They bicker, all that stuff. Well, our MMC's mom, we've known this throughout the series. This is the 4th installment of the series. It can be read as a standalone, just so you know. But we found out last book that his mom is battling cancer. And it is becoming apparent in the beginning of this book that she is not doing well. And the family is making an effort to make her last months and memories as beautiful as possible. Well, they're at a family dinner family dinner with both families, and she shares with the family that her dying wish is for the MMC and FMC to go on one date together, to reconcile their differences and to go on a date. So they do, and it does not go well. And they're like, well, we tried. And he reports back to his mom and he's like, I tried. Like, it really didn't go well. And his mom is like, okay, just for me, as one of my last wishes, will you please try again? And ultimately, they do try again, and they kind of come to this agreement. It's like, okay, well, we will fake date until her passing to kind of bring her a sense of joy. And in exchange for that, our FMC is planning to take over and start working at post-graduation her father's landscaping business, landscaping and yard architecture. There's a better way to say that, and I don't know what it is. But she wants to take it over. But her dad also offered the MMC a job there as kind of her counterpart, and she feels as though her dad doesn't think that she can handle it. Okay? And so in exchange for this fake dating, because he is treating it as a favor for her to do for him, he will not accept this job. Okay, you get it. They start fake dating. And then they kiss. Epic, tension, incredible. You'll have to read it to find out how it actually goes down. But they kiss, and then they're like, wait, are we friends? Like, can we do this? And so the tension is phenomenal and continues to build and build and build until they're like, is this fake anymore? And then mind you, on top of this, she is inexperienced, if you will. My mom listens to this, so I'm trying to keep it classy. Hi, Mom. And she decides that she could probably gain some experience through our MMC, who is kind of a playboy. He has made his way around town, if you will. And so that's like another element to all of this. Okay, so you're with me. There's so many moving pieces, but it's not so many moving pieces where you're like lost or confused. They are woven together so beautifully. What this book ultimately covers is a few different topics that could stand on their own as their own book, right? It's what it looks like to do your best, knowing that someone will imminently pass and trying to do everything you possibly can to make them happy. And not only that, but also having to reconcile knowing that the end is near as someone who loves that person. And what grief before death looks like. Oh my gosh. Like, what a topic. Having to navigate grief before death. That's one topic. Another topic is the FMC feels as though her father would respect her more if she were a boy. And that is so real. That's so real. I think many women experience that. It's like, well, would this look different for me if I were a man? Taylor Swift said it. The philosopher of our generation said it. If I was a man, I'd be the man. And then who you become in your grief. The person that you become, the decisions that you make, the way you treat people when you are torn open. That is a topic that's discussed in this book. And then on the flip side of that, how do you show up for someone when they are that version of themselves? It was jaw-droppingly phenomenal. It was a 6-star, Infinity Star read, however you want to take it. It is a Hall of Fame book for me. It changed my perspective on various topics that I just mentioned. And I'm at a loss for words, kind of. Well, obviously not, because I've been talking about this book for a few minutes now. But like, I just mean, I cannot speak highly enough of it. It was that phenomenal. I recommend it that highly. The audio performances were fantastic. I immersive read this, and I had a fantastic audio experience. And to anyone who says that romance books don't teach you anything or you're not learning, literally be so freaking for real. The lessons I have learned from romance books have been truly invaluable in my life. The way I have learned to treat people, the perspectives and empathy I've been afforded because I have taken the time to read, the opportunities to understand someone who's different than me through a point of view in a book, the things that I have learned about myself because I saw a character that looks like me, way more extensive understanding of grief, friendship, love, kindness, empathy. To diminish that in any way by saying that romance is a lesser than genre is just, it's sad. It's sad. So anyway, I'll be a champion of the romance genre all day, every day. So that's Merit. It is an all-time favorite of mine. That came out of this month's read. After that, I read the 4th installment of Catherine Cowell's newest series, Sparrow Falls, called Beautiful Exile. Guys, it was classic Catherine in the best way possible. It was good romantic suspense. What I really liked about this book in comparison to some of Catherine's other books is that I felt these were very much so MMC MC and FMC focused, Catherine does a very good job at creating this world and these side characters and people that you absolutely love. And we got to see the world and the side characters in this story, but I really, really felt connected to our leads in Beautiful Exile, which was really fun. And I think that suited each of them very well because they were both guarded, individualistic people, meaning they fended for themselves, they took care of themselves, and they operated well on their own. And it was really, really interesting to see each of them let each other in, and then ultimately letting other people in. It was really well done. I did not guess the bad guy. If you have been on this social media journey with me, you know that every time I read a Catherine Cowles book, I do a little video trying to guess the bad guy, and I would say I was 25% right. If you want to know what I mean by that, shoot me a message. A few of you have already being like, what do you mean 20%, 25% right? And then once I explain it, you're like, oh. Yeah, so I was like, I consider myself wrong, but 25% of the situation going on, I got right, is kind of where I'm taking it. So, anywho, this is a brother's best friend, billionaire, he falls first romance. If you're wondering, small town, romantic suspense. She is an artist. He is a billionaire. He also owns the hockey team that her brother plays for. A little bit of forced proximity because she lives on her brother's property and he's staying at the brother's house while his house is being built in this small town. And their meet cute is that she is working out in a gym and he startles her, and so she like holds a knife to his throat because like she is defending herself against a stranger in the early hours of the morning who has interrupted her sparring practice, and it's hilarious. So anywho, loved that from Catherine. I just actually last week's episode was all about romantic suspense, so I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because I talked about this one in that episode. Loved it. Classic Catherine. If you're in the market for a good romantic suspense, Beautiful Exile is out now. It is the 4th book in a series. It can be read as a standalone, but the whole series is phenomenal and I would recommend reading them all. Then I read We Can't Be Friends by Hannah Hamrick, and this was Hannah Hamrick's second book, and it was a kind of like strangers to friends to lovers, fake dating, roommates romance set in Chicago. Total opposites attract. Really, really fun read. And then I went into a little second chance romance action. I haven't read a second chance in a while, I feel like, and that was Buried Dreams by Natasha Madison. The Dream series from Natasha is true contemporary enemies to lovers. Like, it is so hard to create a scenario in contemporary romance. The enemies are truly enemies. Like, usually, with all due respect, I feel like the enemies in a contemporary enemies to lovers are just like, I don't know what it is, but I don't like you. Or like they were bickering one time and someone took it too far and someone's feelings got hurt, so they're like, I hate you. Or I don't know, something caused them to just like dislike the other person. But like, I am talking like hate, enemies. If we're in the same room, it's on site. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And it is rare. And Natasha has done it twice in one series. I have not truly believed and like certified a book as enemies to lovers before this since Natasha's first book in the series. This is the 3rd book, but like, this is certified. So the situation that's kind of created this enemies to lover scenario is that a group of young adults were involved in a like tragic car crash, okay? And someone was at fault, and in the first book, he blames her for this crash that ultimately resulted in the death of his girlfriend at the time. Yeah, so like that's enemies to lovers, my guy. Like, that is enemies to lovers because it is literally on site for him when she comes back to town. So that's the first book in the series. The second book, the tension is absolutely there, but it's not an enemies to lovers. But this third one, Buried Dreams, they were dating at the time of the accident, and then he was blackmailed, but also kind of just coerced into defending the person who was at fault. And she at the time was like, if you do this, I'm leaving. And he was like, no, she's not. And then he did it, and she left. Listen to a woman when she says she's going to do something. Crazy concept. But if she says, don't do that or I'm going to leave, and then you do that and then she leaves and you're surprised? I want to say it for like the 4th time in this episode. Be so for real. Anyway, so she returns to town years and years and years later. He has a child. Yeah. He was like devastated after her leaving, was drinking and doing drugs and all these things, and ended up getting someone pregnant, and then so on and so forth. And again, it is like on site for both of them. They're like, I want absolutely, literally nothing to do with you. I hate you. I hate you. Yeah, that's enemies to lovers. That'll do it. So if you're an enemies to lovers fan and like really, really struggle to find like a true enemies to lovers scenario in contemporary, in my opinion, I, Page and Print, feel that this is enemies to lovers. So that was really great. Immersive read that one. And then we dove into My Silver Lining by Laura Pavlov. And Laura, the word I use to describe her books lately is just classic. And I feel like classic is such a good word to describe My Silver Lining. It is the perfect execution of small town fake dating. Perfection, chef's kiss, literally, and I know I say this all the time, but I mean this from my whole soul and chest. No notes. She's a Spitfire FMC. She's funny. She knows what she's about. She's confident, and he's the same. He matches her energy in every way. Like, she gives me Willa Grant energy, and then like he gives me Weston Belmont energy, kind of. Like, he's a reformed playboy, but it's one of those things where you're like, well, I see why the ladies like you. I don't blame you. Like, he's very respectful about it, but I get it. He's charming. And so they're in a mutually beneficial fake dating relationship because she needs to bring someone home for her grandfather's birthday. He needs to take someone to a wedding that his boss is hosting. And so it's kind of mutually beneficial. Again, another little meet cute, a violent meet cute. The second one of this episode, she throw punches him because he startles her in this house because she's living in the house. He's living in the guest house. He comes into the house to try to find something in the kitchen to use because it's technically his brother's house. And yeah, so she throw punches him. It's hilarious. Their dynamic is incredible. And then when I say it's classic, it's just like classic rom-com to me because at the end of the summer, she's moving to Paris, of course, because why not? It's for her business. And she is in this headspace where she's like, nothing can hold me back from doing my business. I neglected my business for a man before, so I'm not going to do that again. But they fall in love. And we get a grand gesture at the end. They can't live without each other. Like, it's just classic. If you want a small town romance, if you just love reading romance, this is the book. Like, I feel as though it is a really, really good representation of the genre as a whole, like small town classic romance. I loved it. I had so much fun reading it. I'm smiling. I'm happy. Okay, and then so I took it from like a little fluff moment and I read Fight by Sloane St. James. Loved it. Sloane, come to the front. This is the first book in the Skyridge Hotshot series, and I had the opportunity to listen to it in advance of its release. It's performed in duet. If you have not read this book yet, and you love audio, this is a perfect storm for you. Okay, so here's the deal with this book. I'm going to say it like from the jump. It is like, in many ways, a book revolving around the miscommunication trope, and I loved it. I think it was a really good progressor of the plot in this scenario. I was not mad about the miscommunication. Well, I didn't love that they were miscommunicating, but as a storytelling device, I was in. Okay, so here's what happens. They meet at a bar one night. They exchange phone numbers. She's new to town and she has a flip phone. She's kind of mysterious. Nobody knows where she came from. He's interested, of course, but they kind of go their separate ways. She's a little bit evasive, but she's also kind of interested in him. We know that something's going on with her, but not exactly sure what. But come to find out, he's a wildfire firefighter and she is an EMT in town. And they're both stationed at the same wildfire. So they kind of get involved a little bit while they're stationed at this wildfire. And the week comes to an end and he's like, I kind of like have some feelings, which is wild because he's the town playboy. So I'm going to try to pursue something with her. But due to a little miscommunication, he hears that she has a husband, which is not untrue, but see, like maybe in your head right now, you're like, it's not the cheating trope. Everybody breathe. Or I didn't feel it was the cheating trope. You find out how all of this happened. She's not a bad person. Do you want me to tell you now? I need you to keep listening because I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to tell you like what happens. If you want to go in totally blind, skip ahead a few minutes. But I do want to tell you this because it's like, if I would have heard that, probably I would have been like, I don't know. So I'll tell you why, but just stay with me. Hold my hand, okay? So he finds this out. They don't talk. Then they're kind of like, he kind of breaks it off with her, but in not the nicest way. Like, it's not the meanest way, but he stands her up on a date and is like, I don't want to see you because he heard these rumors and whatever. Well, they pass each other on a hike up this mountain. And he's going down, she's going up. And then he gets home and a huge snowstorm breaks out. And he's like, dang it. Is she still on that dang mountain? and he tries to reach out to her. He tries to get a hold of her. He can't. He goes up the mountain to try to find her, realize she's been trapped and is in a dangerous situation. So anyway, they end up getting snowed in this like fire tower at the top of the mountain together for days. And they're having to face their differences. Okay, this is where the spoiler comes if you don't want to know at all about her. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Turns out she has escaped a religious cult. And she was in a lavender marriage so that her husband wouldn't be outed to the community in this religious cult. Yeah. So like what my point in all of telling you all this and leading up to it is saying, and why I want to discuss the plot of the story is like, I liked the miscommunication trope in this because it's like, yeah, that's wild. How would he have guessed and heard, like, because technically, yes, she does have a husband. And unless he just marched up to her door and knocked on the door, is like, heard you had a husband, what's up with that? And she was like, oh, I'm in a lavender marriage from the get-go. There'd be no book. There would be no book to speak of. So, I'm not usually a fan of the miscommunication trope necessarily, but this book, I loved it. It really, really made for a great story. So I will say, like, it was kind of a big thing too, because in the beginning of the book, you find out that he was cheated on by his fiance. And so like cheating is like a big no-no for him. So when he finds out that she's married, it's like a gut punch to him. So anyway, this is me on record. I, Paige in Print, did enjoy the miscommunication trope in this book. Yay. Okay. See, I will try anything. And if the author crushes it, I'm going to like it. For the most part, like, I'm not going to write anything off just because it's a trope. That's not fair. I will always give it a try, but I will also always be honest. Like, for me, if I go into a book knowing that there's a really, really good shot that I'm not going to like it because of things that were advertised on the back of the book or advertised by the author, me personally, am not going to. Honestly, I probably will not rate the book, like do a star rating on the book, because I knew what I was getting into going in. It's like, it was on the packaging. I knew that I was about to read a book with XYZ trope that's not my favorite. And if I read it and don't like it, like, that's on me, you know? So anyway, that's just a little bit about me. So if I would have not liked this book going into it, doing my research, reading reviews, knowing good and well that there was going to be a miscommunication and I didn't like it because of that miscommunication, like, to me, that's on me. And that's my personal opinion. And we can have different opinions and still be friends, but just a little interesting food for thought there. Because I feel like that's not fair to the author if I knew good and well that I probably wouldn't be the right audience for a book to then, like, proceed to read it and rate it poorly because I read a book I knew I wouldn't like. Oh, no thanks. That's not fair to anyone involved. That's just how I do things around here in my house, and you can do things differently in your house. But like, I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think of something I don't like matcha. That's a good example because a lot of people like matcha. I don't like matcha. It's not my favorite. I don't like matcha. So if I go to a coffee shop and order a matcha and then they give me a matcha and then I proceed to drink that matcha in its entirety, not finish the matcha, i.e. DNF, knowing that I don't like matcha and I ordered a matcha and they gave me a matcha and I drank the matcha, and then I'm going to go on their Yelp and give it a 1-star review being like, well, I don't like matcha, but I ordered a matcha and drank a matcha. That's my fault. Hey, that's my fault. That's on me, the orderer of the drink that I knew I wouldn't like for drinking it. So I don't need to be going on the Yelp and saying about how much I didn't like the matcha when I knew I didn't like matcha. Okay, anyway, I'm going to continue now. It's just a little thought. It's a metaphor, you see, for books. We're smart. Proceed. So I had taken a pause from this book. I actually started it in February, but then I had a ton of ALCs come in. So I took a quick pause from Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. I had such a fun time reading this book. Rome? Now that's a book boyfriend. Dang, I loved him. And she was so fun too, the FMC. This is a summer romance to me. And it takes place on a resort. They're the maid of honor and best man in this wedding. And it's actually her ex and her sister getting married. And she's unbothered by it. Like, she's like, they're meant for each other. It's fine. But everyone thinks she's bothered by it. And then her sister is also being horrific to her. And he's like, well, let's make an arrangement only for the week because they kind of have a mutual attraction. So fun. Summery. He treats her so well. He is so emotionally intelligent. I loved it. The family drama delicious, so dramatic. Like, just the family was a mess in the best way, most entertaining way. I really enjoyed it. I did it on audio. I think it would be a great eyeball read as well. I kind of wish I read it by the beach because that just would have been the vibe. So if you're going on a little beach vacation, only for the week is a great one. Then I listened to Bring It All by Molly Goins, her second book in the Astor Creek series, and that actually wrapped up my Molly Goins journey, which is so crazy. I absolutely adore Molly. I love everything she does. And this was absolutely her angstiest book. It was a police officer romance, dislike to love, single guardian. And I really, really liked the way that this went from dislike to love to liking each other. Like, it was gradual, but also just made a lot of sense to me. And it wasn't like a will we, won't they, hot and cold thing. It's like once he decided that he was into her, that was that. And same for her. And that was refreshing. That was refreshing. Say it every time when I talk about Molly's books, but it is she just writes refreshing stuff. I do recommend, as always, whenever I recommend a book, I am begging you, please check your content warnings, read the synopsis, do a little bit of research, because while I loved a book, it might not be for you, and just a little bit of research could save you a little bit of heartache. I know we kind of talked about that earlier in the episode, but there are some heavier topics covered in this book, and due to those topics, this might not be the one for you, and that's okay. And I think Molly would be okay with that too. I am fortunate to be good friends with her. I'm on her team. I work for her, so I know her well. And I truly, truly think there's not an author I know that would be disappointed that you didn't read their books because you read the content warnings and decided it wasn't a good fit for you. So anyway, loved this. Angsty, wild third act conflict. It was again a classic romance, and I loved every moment. I cannot believe I'm caught up on her backlog, and this one just released on audio with the final book in the Astor Creek series. Despite it all, one of my top MCs of all time, little side note, is releasing on audio next month. So if you want to listen to Astor Creek, now is the time. We're about to get caught up. The last book I have read up until this point is called Help Me Remember by Corinne Michaels, and it's the first book in a series. And this series is actually a romantic suspense series, but the suspense covers the entire series. I'm so locked in. I'm in the middle of the second book right now called Give Me Love. It is blowing my mind. Help Me Remember was my first amnesia book. I can't believe in all 300 whatever books I've read that I have not read an amnesia book, but it's true. And to me, this was done so well because she had amnesia, but it was for the past 3 years. She only couldn't remember the last 3 years after a head injury. And it was a head injury during a crime that was being committed. And so people couldn't fill in the blanks for her of her past because they were worried it was going to jeopardize her case because she was the only eyewitness to the case. So really, really interesting. But she comes to find out that she had been engaged to someone. She doesn't know who that person is. He's there. Don't worry. It's so good. It was so good. I was on the edge of my seat. I immersive read it. I did this whole reading vlog, my friend Torianne and for Corinne, and sent it to them. I was ill. His POV, because she couldn't remember him. I was ill. Oh, it was so good. It was so angsty. It was so the feelings. It was that's my review. Is that a good review? I don't know, that's not a lot of words, a lot of sounds, but it was phenomenal. 5 stars. That brings me to my in progress reads right now, which right now I'm immersive reading Give Me Love. As I just mentioned, the second book in the series, it's a marriage of convenience, but they got married in the war. They were both in the army together. I will absolutely be talking about this in next month's wrap up because this whole series is I cannot believe I had not read it yet. And Torianne, if you're listening, I know you told me so. I know. I'm sorry. I should have listened. Listen to your friends when they tell you to read something they know you'll like. It's just good practice. So anyway, and then I am currently eyeball reading In Good Company by Kat Singleton. I'm about 30% in. It's an ex's brother, private chef in the Hamptons. He's a billionaire romance. Very fun. Love this era from Kat. Kat just gets the billionaire thing. I love it. So I will absolutely be discussing this book next month as well in my little wrap up. But this book is releasing on April 3rd, so keep an eye out for that. It's releasing on audio and on ebook. So a little anticipated TBR talk for the end of the month, a little peek behind the curtain. I am recording this on the 25th of March, so still have a few days, and I believe in my heart of hearts that I'm going to read 3 more books this month. Here they are. 2 audios, and an ebook. On audio, I'm going to listen or immersive the last book in this Corinne Michael series. It's called the Rose Canyon series, so I'm going to do book 3 in the Rose Canyon series, and then I'm going to do an ALC of Bourbon and Lies, a little reread action on one of my favorite romantic suspense books, so really excited about that one. And then I'm going to eyeball read Destined by Kay Knightley. Yes, very excited about that. I've been dying to read this one. It's been on my Kindle forever. Romantic suspense. So excited. This was Kay Knightley's debut. So that is my March in reading. I'll let you know what I actually end up reading at the end of this month in next month's episode. Now let's dive into some exciting April releases. Let's do a little rapid fire. I'll tell you the book, the trope, and the release date, because this is getting long, isn't it? So on yesterday for you all, if you're listening on release day, April 1st, we got Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is a rom-com, grumpy sunshine, long distance. They're long distance because the FMC's mom has dementia and she needs to be with her. Just like a long distance, right person, wrong time type thing. And then on April 3rd, per my last email, In Good Company by Kat Singleton. That's a billionaire private chef, ex's brother in the Hamptons romance. Then on April 4th, Finding Home by Jen McMahon. It's a small town. He is a local bar owner and she's a city girl kind of coming to the town to find her independence. He's a total grump except for with her. There's apparently some really great found family in this one, so I'm excited to read that one. And then for all of the romantic girlies, the 3rd installment, Fearless by Lauren Roberts, is coming out on the 8th of April. 3rd and final book in the trilogy. It's a romantic series. The first is Powerless and Reckless. Then on the 15th, I cannot believe I'm saying this, the final book in Rebel Blue Branch series, Wild and Wrangle, will be releasing. This is a single mom, second chance-ish, down bad cowboy romance. I'm so excited for this one. Bridesmaids by Chance is going to be April 15th. Megan Quinn. This is a billionaire, marriage of convenience, brother's best friend, grumpy sunshine, workplace, boss assistant type thing romance. Then Liz Colbert's debut novel, Letting Go, is releasing on April 21st, and it is a Special Forces veteran, MMC turned FBI agent, small town, single mom, slow burn, no third act breakup, curvy FMC romantic suspense book. On April 22nd, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry is a small town, workplace, rivals to lovers, opposites attract, forced proximity, high stakes mystery romance. And then on the 24th, the ever-awaited Sawyer by Jessica Peterson will be returning back to Lucky River Ranch. This is a single mom and single dad. Former barrel racer. They had a shared evening together, so like a shared one-night stand history. Small town cowboy romance. Just Say Yes by Lena Hendricks is going to be the final installment of the King's Family series, releasing on April 25th. I cannot believe that we're going to be leaving Out of Towner. This is the 9th book from this town, 4 from the Sullivans, 5 from the Kings, and I cannot believe it. This is a nurse, rugby player, dislike to love, family drama and connection, small coastal town romance, and the end of an era. And then last but not least, on April 29th, King of Envy by Anna Huang is a billionaire, morally gray, nearly silent MMC, supermodel FMC. He falls first, but she's fake engaged to his best friend, and it is the 5th installment of the Kings of Sin series. So that is going to be what we have to look forward to in the month of April. Are you excited for any of these releases? I am telling you, message me. I'll be so happy that you did. And that's going to be it. I know this has gotten a little bit long, but I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to talk about books like this. I cannot express how much it means to me. I truly love doing this. A month of this podcast, and it has been so much fun. I think it might be my favorite type of content to create. I just love sitting and yapping to an empty room. Somebody check on her. Somebody make sure that a professional is looped in on this. Bless my heart. But I really do love chatting to an empty room about books. If I get the chance, this is what me and my friends talk about. I know, Claire, you're listening. I love you. Hello. So anywho, it's going to be a good month. You're going to have a great month. I'm so proud of you. Whatever you read last month, it was the perfect amount. Whatever you read next month, it's the perfect amount. Do not feel pressured. Read what you love. Pick up books that you know you'll love. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. But thank you, as always, for spending your time with me. And I will see you in the next one.